but like the sexual assault cases from men, as in like men who are sexually assaulted, are severely underreported.
Yeah. But even with the assaults, rapists are still out there doing horrible things. And you end up having people who aren't rapists afraid to go and approach women. And then you have women who are miserable because they're like, why aren't guys coming up and talk to me? And it's Me Too. And it's also the whole gym filming people to shame people publicly.
They're,
like, all right,
it's
not worth
they're
it.
reaping what they sow, right? Those women, you know, they're basically
women
just like,
have it hard enough that I would struggle with to categorize that they are reaping what they sow, right? Like the issue is that, yeah, go ahead.
The issue is that society is saying, you know, women, you know, respect women, and like social media is filled with, oh, this guy is staring at me really weirdly, and it's just like, no, this guy is waiting for you to be done with the self checkout. Like he's just waiting, he's just watching you to wait,
right?
To know when to go.
But like, back to the kind of, like, to a true story, like when you're a woman, you're like going on a date or talking to a guy, it's like they're all asking themselves, is this a gentle guy or is this going to be like a bear who will try to maul me? And it's like, that is just a physical reality of the difference between somebody, and that's where it's like, and
I think that sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like I think that reaction is the culture of the day and not indicative of the actual reality that we live in.
But it's hard to separate the two, especially when you see and you get inundated with it online. It becomes to think, because like there was a study recently, and listen, one black guy getting shot by a cop, I think is too many, right? Like that, I wish we lived in a world where that didn't happen. But the study was like, how many times do you think that actually happens in a year? And based off of like, where do you consume your media? And it was like, obviously left leaning was like, oh, we think it's happened like 1,000 guys every a year or something like that. Right wing media was more like 25. The actual number, 5. And 5 is still too high. But it's that if you think that this is like, there is just a massive amount of this happening. Like it will color you. It will, like, you will be like, oh, I don't know what's going on. And then,
Rick Tone, it's, you know, Rick Tone says bad things happen, but the media overblows it. Well, it's the old adage: if it bleeds, it leads.
Well, if you have a media that's driven off of ad revenue, if you make your living off of ad revenue, that's again why it's like, this is like a fun, you know, passion project. Because if I had to live off of the ad revenue, like that immediately changed. Like that would, I am not, you know, I do not think about that. Like to feed my kids. Like, yeah, I would take that sponsorship for that mobile game that I don't like, and I've stated that I don't like it, but I'll promote it because I gotta make the bread. And it's like, you separate that, and then you take that and you extrapolate that into a bigger, grander scale, and then it's like, and so, like, I understand why. I think the problem is that since we're unwilling to actually pay for our media, for the majority of the news of it, that the news can't be based off of what it was, where it was based off of the newspapers and the subscription to the newspapers. Like that was who they served, not, and the ads were just kind of on top of that. But we've seen the shift to ads, and then you see that shift to sensational, to that, like, we got to get those clicks or we're not going to make any money. And that's where the fault is, in my mind.
Rick Tone,